Oh, okay. No, I'm in. I'm good.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's not, you got to look at the whole meeting thing so you can see if you can manage it. If not,
Okay. Come sit over here. Let me show.
Ready to start recording.
We're recording.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order of the Garrison Board of Education Annual Reorganizational Meeting of July 8th, 2020. And at this time, I'll do the roll. Jocelyn Apicello.
Here.
David Gelber.
Here.
James Hawk.
Here.
Courtney McCarthy.
Here.
Matthew Spicer.
Here.
Sarah Tormey.
Here.
Okay, and okay. I cannot share my screen at this time, so we'll go ahead with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'm going to administer the oath of office to our newly elected board members. We'll start with Jocelyn Apicello. And Jocelyn, you have your script available.
I do, thanks.
Okay, if you would go ahead and read your oath.
Okay. I, Jocelyn Apicello, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Office of Board of Education member for the period of July 1, 2020 through June 30, 2023, according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. And Courtney McCarthy, can you please read your oath?
I, Courtney McCarthy, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Office of Board of Education member for the period from July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. And Matthew Spicer.
I, Matthew Spicer, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Office of Board of Education member for the period from July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'm going to ask for nominations from the board for the office of board president. The election of board president shall be by verbal public vote. And then once we have established our new board president, I'll administer the oath of office. May I have nominations for the office of board president?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Sarah Tormey to be board president.
I will second that.
I'll third it.
Any others?
Fourth it. Is that a thing?
I think we have enough.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, Sarah.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Okay, congratulations, Sarah Tormey. It's our new board president.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate your trust in me. I'm very excited to serve you. Hope your confidence isn't misplaced. Would you like me to read my oath?
I would.
Okay. I, Sarah Tormey, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of board president for the period from July 8th, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, according to the best of my ability. And I think, Courtney, at this time, did we have a special thank you for our outgoing board president for all his many, many hours of work that he dedicated? James, you got to come back. You can't walk away now.
You can't.
I just want to say that, I mean, I'm so appreciative that he's handing this over when I still have a chance to learn from him. And I'll turn it over to Courtney for this, but Really appreciate your efforts, James.
James, it has been one heck of a year, and we could not have gotten through this without you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your time, and more of your time. Thank you to your family for giving you up for many of those hours, for your devotion, for your night terrors, for everything that you put into the Garrison School District. It has gotten us here. It has been a lot of work, but you really stepped up. We couldn't have done this without you. And we have a bottle of wine and a gift certificate to Dolly's for you. So have a lovely night out sometime soon with your wife.
That's a great idea.
Maybe
That
she'll
is a
forgive
great
us
idea.
all.
She'll forgive me. But thanks. My pleasure, my pain, but also my pleasure. So, and I am sleeping a little better, not having to think about all things, board related. But, it's been a growing experience for me. And the very first thing that we talked about when I assumed the position of board president was saying this should not be any one person's lifetime position. It should be shared, and I think we all benefit from it. So I'm looking forward to Sarah leading us, and looking forward to staying on the board and being part of the group again. So thank you.
David, unmute.
If you're going to speak, Dave.
First of all, I'm delighted that you're not following the lead of Vladimir Putin and continuing your presidency for the next 20 years. But I'm not sure how many people in the community know that you really have set a standard for community service in this job. How much time you spent, the wisdom you've brought to it, and the sort of lack of self-interested quality of your leadership. It's really been a paragon of what community service ought to be, and Garrison ought to know that. And Putin ought to know that too. Maybe Putin follow your.
Well, yeah, one president away, and then we'll deal with Putin. Okay, I'm gonna clean the slate.
All right. Well, thank you again, James. And I'm so glad you're not going anywhere. I'll just call you in the middle of the night if I have any questions and feel I need your advice. Good to know. It's when you like to think about board things. Sorry. Yeah.
No, I just also want to add my gratitude and say thank you to James. I've been transitioning for about 2 months, and this is a complicated time to begin a superintendency. And James has given me many, many hours. And James, please know I'm truly grateful for all that time. I know you have your own responsibilities, but your insight, your understanding of the needs of the district were incredibly helpful. And you really helped me to get off on the right foot. So I thank you.
Thanks, Carl. Dusty, Carl, 2 great additions to this community, and looking forward to getting to know Lou, and lots of changes coming forward, lots of changes behind us. So I feel very positive about the direction of this district, very positive. So that's a good thing. Yeah.
Good.
All right. I'm going to take over from here, right, Dusty?
Yes, it's all
All right.
yours.
I'm going to move on to elect board vice president. And so would like to ask for nominations for the office of board president. About board vice president, the election of the board vice president shall be by verbal vote. The board president shall administer the oath of office to the board vice president, who will serve through June 30th, 2021. May I have nominations, please?
I nominate Courtney.
Second.
Second from Matt, thank you. All in favor, Courtney serving as vice president, please say aye.
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 All nays? Abstentions?
I guess I'll.
Okay. You're going to say it? Okay. You should vote for yourself. You do a great job.
You're just lucky I didn't vote no.
I know.
Thanks, Court. Thanks for staying on.
Thank you for your service last year and this year. It's going to be so much fun. I promise you won't regret this. And if you do, don't tell me. All right, babe. Do you have your oath
Thank you, G.
I, Courtney McCarthy, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Office of Board Vice President for the period from July 8th, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, according to the best of my ability.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. You get wine and a gift certificate when you're done with your second year, just to be clear.
Take it.
I'm going to move on to appointment of district clerk.
I think it might be in your interest to delve into Sarah's definition of fun.
Oh, I've been questioning that for some time now.
She's on the policy committee with me. She knows how I find what I think is fun. All right, we're going to go on now. Appointment of district clerk. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby appoints Dusty Callow as district clerk for the Garrison Union Free School District effective July 8th, 2020 through the organizational meeting of July 2021 at an annual stipend of $7,000. May I have a motion, please?
Making a motion. Why am I forgetting the words?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor? Dusty, would you like us to do a roll call vote at this time?
Sure.
Okay. Would you like me to call the names for you?
Sure.
Or do you prefer to?
You can go ahead.
Okay. Jocelyn Apicella, are all in
Aye.
Jocelyn Apicella, aye.
Aye.
James Hoke,
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy,
Aye.
David Gelber,
Aye.
Matthew Spicer,
Aye.
Sarah Tormey, aye. Abstentions, nays, no, everybody voted. All right, we're moving on. To administer the oath to the district clerk. Dusty, do you have your oath?
I do.
Okay, I'll turn it over to you to read your oath, please.
I, Dusty Callow, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Office of District Clerk of the Board of Education for the period from July 8th, 2020 through the organizational meeting of July 2021, according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Now we are entering the business phase of the reorg meeting. I just wanted to point out that a lot of what we are doing in this meeting are the annual items that we approve every year that allow us as the board to conduct the business we need to do throughout the year. So I'm going to do my best to move quickly, but also making sure I give all the information here. We will begin with board appointment of school district officers. And Dusty, please jump in if I'm incorrect on anything at any point in time. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District approves the annual appointments of school officers for the period from July 8th, 2020 through the organizational meeting of the Board of Education, July 2021. These positions include Deputy District Clerk, Patricia Martz, District Treasurer, Susan Hutter, Central Treasurer and Extra Classroom Activities Accounts, Susan Hutter, Deputy District Treasurer, Dusty Callow, School District Tax Collector, Susan Hutter. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
If anyone has any questions, open the floor for that. Okay. Dusty, would you like a roll call again?
Sure, yeah, let's do a roll call.
Great. Jocelyn Apicella.
Aye.
Okay. James Hoke.
Aye.
David Gelber. Okay. Did you get that, Jess? Aye.
Got
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Courtney McCarthy.
Aye.
Matthew Spicer.
Aye.
Sarah Tormey. Aye.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. We're going to move on to annual board appointments. This is a long one, but a good one. Be resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District approves the following consent agenda of annual appointments for the period from July 8th, 2020 through the organizational meeting of the Board of Education in July 2021. External Auditor, PKF O'Connor Davies, LLP. School and Labor Attorney, Gervin and Ferlazzo, PC. Receiver of Bids, Business Administrator. Purchasing Agent, Superintendent. Certifier of Payroll, Superintendent or his or her designee. Receiver of Services of Process, District Clerk. Receiver of Services of Process in the absence of the District Clerk, Deputy District Clerk. Civil Rights Compliance Officer, Superintendent. Affirmative Action Officer, Superintendent. District DASA Coordinator, Superintendent. District DASA Investigator, Principal. Title IX Compliant Officer, Principal. Title VI Compliant Officer, Principal. Title VII Compliant Officer, Principal. 504 Coordinator, Principal. Title IX Section 504 ADA Compliance Officer, Superintendent. The McKinney-Vento Liaison for Homeless Children and Youth, Jessica Van Decker. Fiscal Advisors, Bernard P. Donegan. Bond Counsel, Cornelia Cahill of Barclay Damon. ADA Compliance Officer, Director of Facilities. Records Management Officer, Superintendent or his or her designee. Records Management Clerk, Renee Ford. Records Access Officer, District Clerk. Records Access Appeals Officer, Superintendent. District Residency Officer, Superintendent. Chief Emergency Officer, Superintendent. Chemical Hygiene Officer, Regional Safety Coordinator, Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES. Asbestos Hazard Emergency Response Agency, Regional Safety Coordinator, Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES. Asbestos Local Educational Agency, designee is our Director of Facilities. OSHA Coordinator is our Director of Facilities, as is the School Pesticide Representative is our Director of Facilities. Safety Coordinator is our Superintendent. Supervisor of Attendance is Louis Cuglietto. Attendance Clerk, Catherine Mariani. Sick Bank Committee Joint Members, Superintendent and Business Administrator. Thank you all for listening. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Okay. Do a roll call. Jocelyn Epicello,
Aye.
James Hoke,
Aye.
David Gelber,
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy,
Aye.
Matthew Spicer,
Aye.
Sarah Tormey, aye. All right, the list gets shorter from here on out. Acting principal recommendation. Be it resolved in the event that the principal of the Garrison School is not physically present in the Garrison School building on one or more days or portions thereof during the 2020-2021 school year, that the superintendent shall be acting principal for all short-term student discipline matters pursuant to section 3214 of the New York State Education Law. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Any questions? Justin, did you have a question or were you?
No, I just wanted Dusty to see that I seconded.
Okay. All right, we'll do a roll call. Jocelyn Epicello,
Aye.
Aye.
James Hoke,
Aye.
David Gelber,
Aye.
Matthew Spicer,
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy,
Aye.
Sarah Tormey, aye. All right, acting superintendent recommendation. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District does hereby appoint Susan Hutter as acting superintendent in the absence of the superintendent for the 2020-2021 school year. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank
Second.
you. Great. Do a roll call vote unless anyone has any questions. Just pointing out briefly that we have very little administration in our building, so they do wear a lot of hats when different members are out of the building, just to make that clear for everyone here in the public. All right, do the roll call now. Jocelyn Epicello,
Aye.
James Hoke,
Aye.
David Gelber,
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy,
Aye.
Matthew Spicer,
Aye.
aye. Sarah Tormey. All right, moving on. We're on section 7 already. We're doing great. Annual board designations. Designate official bank depositories. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District designate the following banks as the school district's official bank depositories. Manufacturers and Traders M&T Bank, TD Bank. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
I have a question on that.
Yes.
Is it possible to use a federal credit union for this activity? Or, I mean, I'm not saying that we should. I was just wondering if it's even in the ballpark, or must it be a bank? Just curious.
I'm gonna let
James,
Carl
I think that's a good question for Susan Hutter.
Okay.
So let me see if I could.
I mean, you know what? I'll withdraw the questions for the expediency. Maybe that question can be answered during her presentation or something. Okay.
Sure.
I didn't want to sidetrack. I just was like curious.
All right, we'll do the roll call then. Jocelyn Epicella,
Aye.
James Hoke,
Aye.
David Gelber,
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy,
Aye.
Matthew Spicer.
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving on to designate official newspapers. Be resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District designates the newspapers listed below as the official newspapers of the Garrison Union Free School District for the fiscal year 2020-2021. Putnam County News and Recorder, Journal News. And may I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Thank you. And just a quick note on this, the official papers are the ones, I believe, and Dusty and Carl, please, Mr. Albano, please jump in here if I'm incorrect, that when we need to post things that are required by law that we post, they go to these papers based on their distribution levels. They meet the qualifications to be an official newspaper, which is why the Highlands Current might not be listed, but we also use them on occasion. Any questions? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. It's like just me talking. This is interesting. Jocelyn Epicella?
Aye.
James Hoke?
Aye.
David Gelber?
Abstain.
Thank you. Courtney McCarthy?
Aye.
Matthew Spicer?
Aye.
Sarah Tormey? Aye. Dusty, got that?
Got it.
Good. Okay. We are now on to designate official bank signatories. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District designate the district treasurer or the deputy district treasurer in the absence of the district treasurer to sign checks for all district accounts except the extra classroom activity account. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Do we have any questions? Okay. Go with the roll call here. Jocelyn Epicella.
Aye.
James Hoke.
Aye.
David Gelber.
Sorry, aye.
Courtney McCarthy.
Aye.
Matthew Spicer.
Aye.
Sarah Tormey. Aye. Designate educational official, DEO. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby designates the superintendent as a designated educational official to receive court notification regarding a student's sentence / education in certain criminal cases and juvenile delinquency proceedings. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Any questions? Okay, we'll move on to the roll call. Jocelyn Epicella.
Aye.
James Hoke.
Aye.
David Gelber.
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy.
Aye.
Matthew Spicer.
Aye.
Sarah Tormey. Aye. Okay, we're getting there. Designation of residency determinations. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District designates the superintendent to make residency determinations. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions?
No.
Yes, John.
No.
Oh, you
I
ready
was
to
already
vote?
roll calling.
Move it along then. No questions? Jocelyn Epicello, go for it.
Sorry, no questions. Did I not? Okay. Aye.
Go for it. Aye. James Hoke,
Aye.
David Gelber,
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy,
Aye. Sorry. mute
Matthew
problem.
Spicer,
Aye.
Sarah Tormey, aye. Designation of official school-related organizations. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District designates the following organizations as official school-related organizations: Garrison PTA, Garrison Garden Club, Garrison Children's Education Fund. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Okay, we'll move on to roll call. Jocelyn Epicello,
Aye.
James Hoke,
Aye.
David Gelber,
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy,
Aye.
Matthew Spicer,
Aye.
aye. Okay, annual board authorizations. Signatory authorization for extra classroom activity account. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorizes the central treasurer or the deputy district treasurer in the absence of the central treasurer to sign checks for the extra classroom activity account. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Okay, I'm going to move on to roll call. Jocelyn,
Aye.
James,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Courtney,
Aye.
Matthew,
Aye.
Sarah Tormey, aye. All right. Signatory authorization for district documents. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorizes the board president or board vice president in the absence of the board president to sign documents on behalf of the district. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. Any questions? Jocelyn? Oh, we got that, right? No? No questions? Okay, Jocelyn Epicello for roll call vote?
Aye.
Okay. James Hoke?
Aye.
David Gelber?
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy?
Aye.
Matthew Spicer?
Aye.
Sarah Tormey, aye. Authorized mileage allowance. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorized remunerative allowance as per annual Internal Revenue Service mileage reimbursement rate to staff members who use their personal vehicle for school business with authorization of the superintendent. Hope I got that right. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Any questions? Okay, we'll move to a roll call vote. Jocelyn?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
James?
Aye.
Courtney?
Aye.
Matthew?
Aye.
Sarah? Aye. Authorization to establish petty cash fund. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorized to establish the petty cash fund and authorizes the district treasurer to maintain the petty cash fund in the amount of $200. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Moving to a roll call vote. Jocelyn?
Aye.
James?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Courtney?
Aye.
Matthew?
Aye.
Sarah? Aye. And I apologize if I go out of order by accident at any point. I'm trying to go alphabetically, but your squares are all in different places. Moving on, authorize association memberships. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorize the following associate memberships: New York State School Boards Association, NYSBA, Westchester Putnam School Boards Association, Rural Schools Association of New York State Association of School Business Officials. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I have a question.
Yes, David.
What's the cost of this, and what value do we get from belonging to all of those organizations?
Dusty, are you able to look up the cost for each?
I don't have that in front of me. That's usually we'll get an annual invoice for those associations for renewal. I believe we just received one that, Carl, I think you signed off on this week. I want to say it was maybe somewhere in the ballpark of about $2,200. The New York State School Boards Association, that one I don't know the amount off the top of my head. That might be something that Sue could answer for us. But our board docs program is also through NYSBA. NYSBA, which you may all receive emails from on occasion, but I know we get regular the newsletter updates, and we've certainly gotten a tremendous amount of them this year during the COVID crisis with different information that they're providing that's coming out of the governor's office, things related to changes in the law. I know they offer a number of different trainings available, some of the mandated training that we have to do for board members annually. They offer those. If you are members, then of course your membership fee for those is often about half of what it would normally be if we're non-members. They offer school law conferences. There's any number of different conferences and trainings available. They also have counsel services available, attorneys. They have counsel on staff to answer questions. That really runs the gamut. And Sue might be able to expand on some of that as well. The Rural Schools Association, I'm not that familiar with.
And can we table this? I mean, I'm not against it. I don't know anything about this. And I wonder whether there's overlap, and I mean, at $2,200 a shot, that's real money. I'm not expressing opposition to it, but I don't feel I can intelligently vote for it either.
I would be hesitant to table it if we're going to have our membership expire for things like, especially NYSBA, which I use them, especially for the legal counsel when bringing on a new member is very useful, as is the training. And the Westchester Putnam School Association, maybe Carl can speak to it. We are using them, I believe now, especially in this COVID situation, where having the information from the different school districts as they come together is very important. And then the New York State Association of School Business Officials, I believe Sue uses that as a networking tool as well to hear what's happening in the business community. Perhaps Carl, you could speak to them as well. Do you feel they're of value and need to be renewed?
I do. I think if you're accessing the information, the value is there. Of course, David, you make a good point. You know, between 2,000 and 3,000 each. If you're not utilizing that information, then that's not money well spent. But these are very standard in nearly all districts. And I can't speak for the past in Garrison, but I have seen evidence that you are accessing the information. They provide policy updates, legal updates. So it is money well spent in my judgment if you're accessing them, but certainly you're asking a valid question as far as specific costs and more description of what we're using, and we can certainly get that to all of you as soon as possible. The business organization, if you want more detail right now, I could pull Sue Hutter up and she can speak to that in more detail.
You know, if you're confident, Carl, that these are complementary organizations, don't overlap, and that each of them provides real value that is worth it to us, then I'll withdraw my my objection or my proposal that we table it.
Does anyone else feel we should wait? And because we could put this
The only thing I have a question about is the
Anyone
rural
else?
schools, only because I think that I don't know where we stand with rural schools, that association. I know that the Westchester thing is pretty important for training, because that's where, if you do in-person training, David, that's who sponsored our training when we got
Yeah.
elected and all.
And Matt, you had a question. Matt, you had a comment,
Would
please?
would it be possible to separate the vote for different organizations? Like, I feel like the New York School Board Association, we definitely use. Westchester Putnam, we definitely use. So I feel like those two we should use, especially in the context of COVID. I wonder if is it possible? Is it something we would be able to do to kind of vote those in and table the other two, or no? Or even 2, 3 of the 4? The rural one is the one the rural one is the one I'm least familiar with.
The business official one, I think Sue goes to a meeting every year. There's a conference or whatever. They also do, I think they do lobbying as well.
And,
Some of these places do lobbying for us.
Okay.
Sue has been promoted. Sue, can we give Sue a chance to speak to it, please?
Hi, Sue.
Hi, Sue.
Hi, hello, everybody. Good evening. I do use the New York State ASBO quite often. In fact, you've heard me say in board meetings that I'm on their government relations committee, so I'm up in Albany quite often with that group. That really is just paying my dues, which is contractual. It's actually in my contract that the district pays that. You know, that's a bigger thing as well. But there really is not a membership for the district. It's paying my dues to belong to that organization. I really don't think I could survive without them as far as getting information. They give me the most information that I could possibly get. And I'm very active in that group as well and have been for years. So.
Thank you, Sue. Yeah, I remember all the mentions of past board meetings, and appreciate your work with the group and your willingness to network with other business officials.
And I agree. The NISBA and Westchester Putnam schools, I agree, they're very valuable. I would have to look more into the Rural Schools Association as to how much we're using that and what we're using that, because I'm not really that associated with it, but doesn't mean that we're not using it.
Okay. Dusty, can you offer, it sounds like I'm hearing, thank you, Sue. I appreciate coming up and sharing your thoughts in video. To keep us moving along in this fun agenda here, can you offer some guidance on if we wanted to approve everything except the Rural Schools Association? Would you like me to reword the motion?
So you can go ahead and approve the motion that's on the table, and as amended, that you'd like to remove the Rural Schools Association at this time and table that piece to another meeting.
Okay, I'm going to try and just basically repeat what you said then. Going to, so
if we, since you're in the discussion now and you're saying that you want to amend the list of the 4 by removing the Rural Schools Association, then you could go ahead and ask for a vote to approve the resolution as amended.
So moved.
Okay, I'm asking for a vote to approve the motion as amended.
So we have a motion on the table, just to be clear. Courtney made the motion, and James seconded the motion. So now you're just taking the vote to approve as amended.
Approve as amended. I'm going to read the roll call then at this point. Jocelyn Epicello.
Aye.
James Hoke.
Aye.
David Gelber.
Aye.
Thank you. Courtney McCarthy.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Sorry, Matthew Spicer.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Going here. Thank you.
Sarah, before you go to the next one, let me add, I think it was a wise decision to remove that one particular. I am not familiar with it. I was actually surprised that designation of rural schools is usually for schools that are upstate. We do qualify, and I do believe there are benefits, but it'll give me time to research it as well. It's new to me, and with Ms. Hutter also not being familiar with it, we'll get back to you on it. And if we think there's a value, we'll let you know.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I remember it from my training. Due to our size, it's one of the things that we belong to. But all right, I'll keep going here. Please, Carl or Dusty, jump in at any point. Authorized transfer of funds. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorize the superintendent to approve line item budget transfers within a budget category and any budget transfers between budget categories, according to limits prescribed by Commissioners Regulations Section 170.2 and Board Guidelines up to $10,000. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? We're going to move to the roll call vote now. Jocelyn Epicello,
Aye.
James Hoke,
Aye.
David Galber,
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy,
Aye.
Matthew Spicer,
Aye.
Sarah Tormey, aye. Authorized to sell, dispose of surplus property. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorizes the superintendent to declare a surplus and dispose of school district property which is unusable or has a value of less than $500. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Questions? We'll move to a roll call. Jocelyn Epicello,
Aye.
James Hoke,
Aye.
David Gelber,
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy,
Aye.
Matthew Spicer,
Aye.
vote aye as well. Okay, authorization of conferences, conventions, workshops. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorize the superintendent to approve staff attendance at conferences, conventions, and workshops as appropriate. May I have a motion?
So
You
moved.
got 3 minutes.
Second.
I'll meet you in the playroom.
Someone's going to the playroom.
I'm going.
We'll do a roll call
Listen,
vote now unless there's any
I think it's
questions.
bedtime. Not.
Jocelyn Epicello,
Aye.
James Hoke,
Aye.
David Galber,
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy,
Aye.
Matthew Spicer.
Aye.
I'll vote aye as well. Did you get all that? You're good, Trustee?
I'm good.
All right. Authorize acceptance of donations. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby authorizes the superintendent to review donations to the Garrison Union Free School District from the Garrison Children's Education Fund. And be it further resolved that the superintendent shall recommend acceptance of such donations to the Board of Education for board approval as appropriate and allowed by law. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. Any questions? I just want to point out, I'm not sure if we've had this one on the agenda in the past, but in policy committee, we've been updating, how we accept donations, and it's great to see it on here this time. I think it'll make that process run smoothly. All right, I'm going to go to the roll call then. Jocelyn Epicello,
Aye.
James Hoke,
Aye.
David Gelber,
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy,
Aye.
Matthew Spicer.
Aye.
Vote aye as well. Bonding of personnel, Education Law 2122, 2124, 2327. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorize the faithful performance blanket bond coverage for the following personnel as noted. District Clerk, 1 million. District Treasurer, Central Treasurer, 1 million. Deputy District Treasurer, 1 million. District Tax Collector, 500,000. Account Clerk, 500,000. Claims Auditor, 500,000. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. Any questions? Yes, Matt?
just clarify what this means?
May I ask for clarification from Carl, please?
Sure. Again, this is all related to the financial office, so I'm going to invite Sue Hutter back, and I think she'll be able to provide a more clear explanation, but this is very standard for school districts, and give me one moment. Hi, Sue, welcome back.
Hello. Yeah, it is very standard. It's just an additional insurance from these positions. It doesn't mean that it's capped at that because everything would fall under the umbrella policy of our district as well. So this is, I know it's been asked in the past, is this enough? And I'm assured by our insuring company, yes, this is enough because everything would fall under the umbrella policy anyway. So I hope that answered the question.
Thank you.
Any other questions while we have Sue here?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Sue. I appreciate it.
All right.
Okay. Shall we move to a roll call vote then? Jocelyn Epicello.
Aye.
David Gelber just disappeared on me. we bring him back?
That is my fault. I apologize to David. I will bring him right back.
No worry. It's so good to still have you. All right. Sorry about that, David.
My apologies, David.
Is that because I said something bad about Putin before?
No.
Your name was right next to Sue's. I apologize.
All right. So I'm going to start the roll call again, Dusty, just for clarity's sake. Jocelyn Epicello. Okay.
Aye.
James Hoke.
Aye.
David Gelber.
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy.
Aye.
Matthew Spicer.
Aye.
Sarah Termy, aye. Moving on to the indemnification under Section 18 Public Officers Law. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby adopts the provisions of the Public Officers Law, Section 18, for the defense and indemnification of school district officers and employees. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Any questions, please? If not, I'll move on to a roll call. Jocelyn Epicello.
Aye.
James Hoke.
Aye.
David Gelber.
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy.
Aye.
Matthew Spicer.
Aye.
Sarah Termy, aye. Moving on. Now we're going to annual agreement, Section 9, making great progress here. Okay. Approval of annual agreement for on-site informational technology services. The contract was attached, and I'll read the resolution. The recommended action, be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby approves the annual agreement for on-site informational technology services with EduTech Ltd. for the period from July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Awesome. Any questions? Okay.
These guys have been great, haven't they?
They've been, from everything I've heard, they've been wonderful throughout COVID. I don't know if you have anything to add, Mr. Albano.
Yes, I've met with the owner of EduTech and our person, Rick Mercado, who is assigned to Garrison, and they are responsive. They've been outstanding. In my transition, you only need to ask once, and the service is there, and they're available to us pretty much 24/7. So good value here.
Great, thank you. I'm going to move on to a roll call unless there's any other questions, thoughts. Okay. Jocelyn?
Aye.
James?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Courtney?
Aye.
Matthew?
Aye.
Sarah? Aye. Moving on to the approval of annual agreement for occupational therapy services. Be it resolved that the Board of Education for the Garrison Union Free School District hereby approves the agreement with Carolyn Catalano, MS, OTRL for occupational therapy services for the period from July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions?
Is this who we had last year?
Yes. And Carl, Mr. Albano, please.
No problem. This is the same company that the district has used. By everyone's account, they do a great job. Larger districts employ occupational therapists, but it's very common for a smaller district that doesn't have a need for a full-time person to contract, and they provide services for our special needs students.
Thanks.
And lastly, they're keeping their rates the same. So I think it's a smart thing to stay with them, and they have relationships with parents and students.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? I'm going to move to a roll call vote. Jocelyn?
Aye.
James?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Courtney?
Aye.
Matthew?
Aye.
Sarah, aye. Okay. Moving on to section 10, committee designations, appointments, and purpose. Committee on Special Education and Committee on Preschool Special Education. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorize the following membership: person, Jennifer Mueller; school psychologist chairperson, Jennifer Van Decker; position, school position as requested. But my internet's there, okay. Parent member surrogate, parent, Kim Sabatini. Okay, I'm gonna freeze there for a second. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Any questions? Okay, move to a roll call. Jocelyn?
Aye.
James?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Courtney?
Aye.
Matthew?
Aye.
Sarah Charmy, aye. We're getting there. Section 11, annual adoptions and approvals. Adopt impartial hearing officers. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby adopts the list of impartial hearing officers as listed on the New York State Education Department Impartial Hearing Reporting System website, and hereby authorizes the board president or board vice president to formally appoint a hearing officer by signing a letter of appointment. Be it further resolved that compensation will be made according to the maximum hourly rate approved by the State Education Department pursuant to Section 44041 of the Education Law. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Any questions? Move to a roll call vote. Jocelyn?
Aye.
James?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Courtney?
Aye.
Matthew? Get that? Sarah? Aye. All come through? Are we good? Okay. Adoption of policies and code of ethics in effect during previous fiscal year, Section 806 Municipal Law. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District approve the adoption of the Board of Education Policy Manual as currently constituted. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
I will add a note here that this is for the policy manual as it exists, with the ones, the new additions that we've done with that have had a first and second reading. All the other policy review that the policy committee has done over the course of the year still is in process and is not being adopted at this time. Any questions? Okay, I'm gonna move to a roll call. Jocelyn?
Aye.
James?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Courtney?
Aye.
Matthew?
Aye.
Sarah, aye. Okay, establish capitalization and depreciation thresholds for fixed assets. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District does hereby establish 5,000 as the threshold for reporting the capitalization and depreciation of fixed assets in accordance with GASB 34 regulations. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions?
I'm
No.
going to abstain because I don't understand it. It's okay. Don't bother. It's okay.
Okay. We'll go through then. I'll start with David. David, I have an abstention. Jocelyn.
Aye.
James.
Aye.
Courtney.
Aye.
Matthew.
Aye.
Sarah, aye. Establishment of annual rates of pay for substitutes and other personnel. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District adopts the rates of pay for the following positions for the 2020-2021 school year. District personnel, CSE, CPSC chairperson, annual salary of $31,620. School tax collector, annual stipend of $3,000. Deputy district treasurer, annual stipend of $1,000. Records management clerk, $16.91 per hour. School calendar coordinator, $42 per hour. May I have, sorry. Substitute, certified teacher substitute, $100 per day. Uncertified teacher substitute, $85 per day. Cleaner substitute, $18 per hour. Bus driver substitute, $18 per hour. Clerical substitute, $85 per day. May I have a motion, please?
Question, please. Carl,
You have to do the motion first.
all right, fine.
Well, then we'll come to questions after the motion. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. David, question. Go for it.
Carl, is $100, does that get us, is there an appreciable difference in quality if we raise that sum? And is it worth considering that?
That is a great question. The incoming interim principal, Mr. Cuglietto, and I have had a discussion about that. In the year ahead, we anticipate substitutes could be very important, depending on what kind of environment we're in. We looked at some neighboring districts, and I think we need to be a little bit more thorough in looking at the comparatives, but some are less, David, some are more. We seem to fall about the middle, and I'd like to know a little bit more about the history. For example, have we had trouble getting subs? I think we've had some steady people willing to work in Garrison, some young teachers, and that's pretty typical. Sometimes you do have retired teachers also willing. I'd like the board to keep an open mind. These are the same rates, I believe, as last year. And we'll look around. We'll see if other people are raising their rates. Everyone's doing their reorg meeting. If that's the case, and we think we need to increase that to attract quality people, I will come back to you. But I thought at least establishing these rates would be a good idea right now.
As opposed to suspending the vote and waiting and see what you think. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, if you prefer to do it this way, that's okay with me.
I think at least we have the established rates, and we could always increase them. If we find out that our neighboring districts have increased 10, 15, 20% in anticipation of higher demand for subs, I would come back to you with that information and a request to increase.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, this is the last item on the reorg meeting, so I will move to a roll call vote. Jocelyn?
Aye.
James?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Courtney?
Aye.
Matthew?
Aye.
Sarah, aye. Thank you. We're going to move to 12. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby announces the conclusion of the annual reorganization meeting and adjourns for a short break. This concludes the reorganization meeting. I need a motion on this, please.
So moved.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Second, great, thanks. Dusty, do you need a roll call on this? Yes? Okay. Jocelyn?
Aye.
James,
Aye.
David.
Aye.
Courtney.
Aye.
Matthew.
Aye.
Vote aye as well. Thank you. Up next, we have the regular business meeting. How long did you have planned for a break, Dusty?
If there's anyone who needs to take a break, we could break for, I don't know, 5 minutes, or if you want to continue, we can continue. It's up to you.
Would everyone like? Courtney, please.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. All right, 5 minutes it is. It is 8:01. We'll see you back here at 8:06.
Okay, we're recording again.
Okay.
Everyone's got to mute their mics because it's all jacked up.
Okay. I'm going to keep talking then. I'm going to open the regular meeting of July 8th, 2020. This is our regular business meeting for this evening. And again, Dusty, just jump in here if I mess anything up. We'll begin with the president's comments. I do not have a lot. I would like to update the community on the appointment process for the open board seat. Letters of interest were due today. Now that we have these in, the district clerk will share them with the board members and we will determine our process from there. So more will come on that later. I would also like to note that the governor, I believe yesterday, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Dusty, extended the executive order that so all board meetings will be held via Zoom, hence here we are, through August 5th. We also do have a board retreat planned on July 25th. A portion of this meeting will be held in executive session, and a portion of this meeting with council, and a portion of this meeting, the retreat, will be held open to the public. More information on that will be forthcoming and will be posted on the website. Just for everyone, all the public who's held with us this long, they're always posted on gufs.org for you to review. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Albano. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. I have a few updates. The first thing I need to say is just thank you to all of our board members for making my transition into Garrison a smooth transition. And I do appreciate all of your time. I thanked James earlier, but really each one of you has played an important role in helping me become acclimated with the district. And it is a complicated time, and you made that a lot less complicated by giving me such a great understanding of the district. Also, I want the board and the public, just a reminder to know that Mr. Cuglietto begins with us as interim principal tomorrow. Mr. Levine is still with us for about a week or so. There'll be a lot of transitioning happening. Mr. Cuglietto already has begun his transition. He's done at least 10 meetings with staff members, our teachers union, administrative meetings. So he is quickly coming up to speed, and we look forward to working with him. Also, what we did, Lou Cuglietto and I decided that we would like to meet all of our parents throughout the district together. With both of us being new, we thought we would establish grade level meetings, K through 8 for all parents. We'll start with kindergarten and work our way up. Tomorrow we are getting those dates on the calendar. We decided evenings would probably be best for our parents. And it'll be an introduction of the two of us. We will certainly take some questions, but we also want to listen. We want to hear from our parents and gain a better understanding of the community from their perspective. So we look forward to that, and stay tuned for more information on how to sign up. Also, I thought I should mention our search process for 3 teacher vacancies is well underway. You probably remember that we have a science vacancy. We have a social studies middle school vacancy, as well as a middle school Spanish teacher vacancy. We've started first rounds of interviews. There will be several rounds. The first is a screening interview, which is a bit more brief. We narrowed the pool down to quality candidates for a second round of committee interviews. That's more in depth. After that, the pool will be narrowed down further to bring back people for demonstration lessons. And Mr. Cuglietto and I believe that doing virtual demonstration lessons makes the most sense right now. And it's probably the safest way to proceed. We want to make sure the candidates have that skill set. After that, we will narrow the pool down, do reference checks, and our goal is by the end of July to have 3 candidates to the board recommended for approval. And we may need to call a special meeting for that. Sarah and I spoke about that. I hope the board would make themselves available so we can secure those people for the opening of the school year. Also, I think it's important to update you on 2 very important task force that are running in this district. The first is named the Racism and Equity Task Force. We had our first meeting 2 weeks ago. We launched the first meeting. We have parents on that committee. We have teachers on that committee, support staff, as well as board members and administration. And our next meeting is this upcoming Tuesday. 2 main goals that emerged from the first meeting, or I think 2 needs that all of us agree on, are a need for further professional development for all of us on racism, systemic racism, as well as equity within the educational setting. The other thing that we need to look at is culturally responsive teaching in the classroom. And the consultant that's joining us on Tuesday actually has a background. She worked at State Ed on developing and creating the culturally responsive framework that right now is used by New York State. So we look forward to our next meeting, learning some more, setting some goals and some action plans that can be implemented in the months ahead. But this work, I think, is very complex, in my opinion, and needs to be ongoing. I don't see it as something that, we work on for 2 or 3 months and then it stops. I do believe it's something that Garrison will be working on. So I will continue to provide updates as well as the committee members. Also, we have a reopening of schools task force that actually is required by New York State. We've met once, and tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. we will be meeting again. In a similar way, we have 21 members on the task force. We have parents, we have teachers, we have support staff, we have board members and administrators, and we have our safety consultant from Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES giving us guidance. Governor Cuomo has announced that on July 13th, we will receive more guidance from New York State on specifically what is mandated for us to potentially be open in September. Right now, that decision has not been made, whether we are open or virtual. And if we're open, we will certainly be open in some modified form. And that's part of the work we need to do. And then also Governor Cuomo has announced that by the end of July, all districts must have a plan submitted to New York State for state approval. So that is our time frame. I know many in our community are interested in the specifics of the plan, but know that it is still being developed. We're looking for more guidance, but all of the Garrison community will know the details of the plan by the end of July. And if not on the 31st, it'll be August 1st, and we will make sure we communicate that very clearly to all the parents in the community. Related to that, we partnered with 12 districts in this area to have a thought exchange, which is not exactly a survey. It's a different type of survey where we've asked parents for input on what their thinking is. We want to understand what are the priorities, what are parents concerned about. If you haven't already taken some time to give your input, I would encourage you to do so. An email went out, I think, a couple of nights ago, and if you missed it, certainly just give us a call in the main office. We can resend it. So that will be helpful information for the task force to look at and to disaggregate and try to understand what our parents are thinking. But we also plan to follow up with a second survey. After this one is complete, we would like more details from our parents, and especially as we develop more options for a possible hybrid scenario in the fall. Lastly, I just want to mention to all of our community, a lot of people have done outreach. I've had a lot of Zoom meetings, a few in person outdoors, social distancing at the pavilion, and received some wonderful phone calls. But I just want to say to parents, you know, my phone is available. My Zoom is open to you. And certainly I would welcome, I'm in the building every day. And if someone would like to arrange a meeting, do not hesitate to call my office. I welcome meeting all of you over time. And that's all I have for now, Sarah.
Thank you. And I thank you for all the great updates, Mr. Albano. And I'd also encourage all of the parents and community members, one second, Matt, I see you and I'll get to you, to watch David. We put together a great group of videos to introduce Mr. Albano, their conversations, and this really, the credit goes to David on this for getting the production together, coming up with the idea and everything, but they're really informative. So they're posted on the website. You should have links in your inbox as well. Matt, did you have something, Matt?
I did. I had a question about that. Thank you also. I'm curious about the dynamic, the governor versus the districts. Like, does Governor Cuomo ultimately have sort of the final say overall? So in terms of soliciting district plans, is it basically like, I want your ideas and your plans, but I, Governor Cuomo, ultimately am going to decide? Or is it that he is giving decision-making powers to local districts? Like, or is he able to trump whatever a district wants, no matter what a district proposes? I'm a little unclear about where exactly the decision-making power lies in terms of reopening.
Matthew, that's a great question. He does have the ultimate authority over whether or not schools are allowed to be open with safety measures in place or closed. So, you know, he gave an executive order to close schools, you know, all throughout the spring. And if the numbers increase, and we are seeing increases across the country, obviously, where places have attempted reopening, some have done better at that than others. But if New York proceeds with opening up further and less restriction, and the numbers increase, Governor Cuomo may step in and say, we stay on virtual learning. However, if the numbers are somewhat under control or managed over the next, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks, we're expected to have a plan for bringing students in and staff, but having all safety measures in place, following CDC guidelines, Department of Health guidelines. So there are a lot of requirements. We don't have all that much decision-making in that area. And also, so for example, right now the state has issued for summer school, it is allowable. Some districts are running summer programs, but one requirement, just as an example, are only 10 students are allowed in a classroom. So I think we could expect to see something like that, but we would only be in a modified way if the infections and the hospitalization rates, you know, remain under control. So that's the best information I have now. We've been really pushing the state to issue that guidance so we can finalize plans and then communicate those plans to our community. But you know, everyone is in the same situation. I must say, I participated about a week and a half ago in a regional meeting with New York State. And they did 4 meetings in 4 different regions throughout New York State, and they did really listen. We gave input, and they're taking that back to the Board of Regents and, of course, at the governor's level. So I hope that gave more clarification for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
David, did you have a question as well? No? Okay. Just want to be clear. Okay. And I think we are ready. Thank you, Mr. Albano, for that. To move on to the financial reports. The Treasurer's Report for May. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District, Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District, Board of Education hereby accepts the Treasurer's Report for May 2020. I hope I got that right. May I have a motion?
Mute. So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. The report is attached. Does anyone have questions? We can bring Sue up again if Sue has something she would like to speak to this. I don't know, Mr. Albano, would Sue like to speak to the report? You're muted, Carl.
Sure, I'm sorry. Sure, just give me one moment to invite
Thank
her.
you.
Welcome back, Sue.
Hello, everybody. The only thing I would say is on the investments, you'll notice in the capital fund, there's an increase of $890 and $451. That was the move from the general fund, which I mentioned. I moved it on April 4th. That was the capital project vote. It was part of the capital project vote. So now that those funds are actually sitting in the capital fund. So there's an actual increase in the overall investment. So we ended the month of May with $7,327,587.87. And unless there's any questions then on the multi-fund, I mean, it's pretty straightforward as far as it started out with 1.3 million and we ended the month with 714,614.37 in that account.
Thank you, Sue. Any
Oh,
questions?
and just to answer James's question from before, no, we cannot invest in federal credit unions. It's prohibited by general municipal law for schools to do that. So they're not
Thanks.
considered banks or trusts.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Sue.
Okay. We move to a vote then on the treasurer's report for May. Dusty, would you like to call the roll? You're muted.
Okay. Jocelyn Apsello,
Aye.
David Gelber,
Aye.
James Hoke,
Aye.
McCarthy,
Aye.
Matthew Spicer.
Aye.
Sarah Tormey. Thank you.
Thank you, Dusty. Moving on to the consent agenda. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District approves the consent agenda items 5B through E as presented. I'm going to save you all from reading through them. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. Do we have any questions on the consent agenda, or Mr. Albano, is there anything you would like to add?
You know, I will make mention, you will see that the athletic director appointment is there. Mr. Patrick Beckley and we both met, and we have, right now, like everything else, we're not 100% certain about fall sports. We're hopeful that there will be something, but there is a lot of planning required. So I'm recommending that we move forward. Mr. Beckley will do all the necessary planning. We're hoping that something is allowable, even if it's in some kind of modified form, modified sports. But and Mr. Beckley has some very good ideas for ways that we can keep our children participating, active, doing some conditioning, all with safety measures in place. So we're working on that, and I think it's a good idea to move forward with his appointment.
Thank you, Mr. Albano. Any questions? Dusty, would you like to do a roll call vote?
Sure. Jocelyn Apsello,
Aye.
David Gelber,
Aye.
James Hoke,
Aye.
McCarthy, Matthew Spicer,
Aye.
Sarah Tormey.
Aye. Thank you, Dusty. Moving on to the discussion items. The next item is the superintendent evaluation tool under discussion items. So I'm going to begin this discussion by just thanking the board for taking the time to review the evaluation tools that Mr. Albano recommended. And I also thought I would take a brief moment, and I'll keep it brief, to outline the process for the public. So we begin by working with Mr. Albano to confirm the vision and annual goals. Part of that will happen during our retreat in July and August, and the board will work with Mr. Albano to collectively define priority objectives with measurable targets. We are required by the commissioner's regulations to file the procedure for the evaluation by September 10th of this year. Mr. Albano will make progress reports, and the board may decide to hold a mid-year retreat to discuss progress towards goals that were set. And then this spring, Mr. Albano will do a self-evaluation. The board will use the instrument selected to complete the formal evaluation. And the two tools that we looked at were the New York State School Board Association tool, the NSBA tool, and the Council of School Superintendent Model Evaluations. So now I'd like to hear everyone else's thoughts. Don't all jump at once. Who'd like to, Jocelyn, what do you think?
Sorry. I looked at them both, and I think they both have their merits, and I suppose I feel comfortable with the NSBA tool since we used it as a board self-evaluation tool. I wonder if either of them require fees or otherwise offer kind of technical assistance, like either of the, to kind of assist us as we're working through it. But I have to say, I don't know that I could. I mean, NSBA edges out just a tiny bit because of my familiarity with the way they lay things out.
Thank you. Any other? Courtney?
I agree with what Jocelyn said. It's always nice to see something familiar. We did a training on it. The language is familiar. I'm sure, but I'm sure either one would be fine and would generate a lot of good discussion points and direction. But personally, yes, the NSBA one sticks out a little for me too.
James, David, Matt, anything?
Does anybody have a contrary thought?
No,
Ian?
no, I think that, if we're using NSBA for one tool, we might as well use it for the other. And I like I said to like Jocelyn said, it seems wise to be able to, since we're paying for NSBA services or an association, we could get some assistance if we need it. Some training or whatever.
It will do a training if we need it similar. Sorry, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
All right, no, I agree. I agree. Hey, we just re-upped, so.
Yeah. So the one thing I will point out that I really liked about the NSBA tool is that it called for specific, it gave examples of what type of things you might want to consider when looking for data points as proof of having accomplished a goal. I thought it laid that out well because this is based on data points when we do these evaluations, as it is when we do our board evaluations. So it sounds like we are all in agreement. I now look to Dusty and Carl for guidance on whether we need to officially adopt this tool or do we just start using it? Is there a process that I
haven't been through this scenario before with adopting a tool, so I'm very new to this piece of it.
I don't think you need to adopt it.
Okay.
We'll double check, and if that's the case, then we can get it on the next meeting. I think the language is that we mutually agree on it. For all the reasons that you cited, I think the NSBA tool is a very good tool. And what I like about it also is the process that it outlines, which is not just waiting for the year to pass and then you do a look back. It's an ongoing process, and it's my responsibility to provide the board with evidence towards progress towards my goals throughout the course of the year. And I think that that is good, giving you continual updates on all the goals that we established together. And it's a very thorough tool. And Sarah, you're right. It does give very specific examples. It becomes a bit complex with all the various responsibilities in a school district, but it does a really good job of giving concrete examples of what would be good evidence to provide the board with.
Thank you, Carl. Yes, I think then we will, please let us know if we need to adopt it formally, but otherwise I think we're all in agreement that we will use the NISBA tool. And I do agree that the checking in, keeping it a constant process, we can have further discussion down the line about setting a mid-year review retreat, as we have also done with our board goals. I think that's we've learned as a board that is very helpful. All right, unless anyone has anything else to add, we're going to move on to the second discussion item, which is Board of Education Committee charges and memberships. Okay, so just for the public's knowledge, we currently have 5 standing committees of the board. These include audit, policy, planning, finance, and facilities. I thought we would go through them one by one, and a member who sat on them last year might speak a little bit to the charge, and I can kick this off with the Audit Committee, which is, a really exciting one. But it's a really important one too. It provides, so the independent auditor from outside comes in, presents a report to the Audit Committee, and then the Audit Committee reviews that report, asks questions. We might offer guidance as to what we want the external auditor to look at, the independent auditor to look at. The internal auditor also reports directly to the board and to the Audit Committee presenting reports. So it's a very interesting committee. The charges, I believe, are posted online if anyone in the public wishes to read them fully. And now I would love to serve on this again. And I believe I have 2 more volunteers who are excited about audit. Do you want me to say your names?
I think you said excited, but.
Okay, so Jocelyn and Matt, let's, you guys, I have you down for audit. Thank you so much for volunteering your time to this wonderful committee. If there's nobody else who really wants to dive in, I think we're good. We'll move on then. Next up, we're going to go to facilities. Matt, I'm going to turn this over to you to give us a little introduction.
Sure. So the facilities committee, basically looks at improvements and maintenance to the buildings and to the grounds, the physical component of our school, which right now feels both oddly irrelevant to our day-to-day and extremely relevant given the capital project. Given the latter, we sort of have, in addition to the regular meetings, we have meetings with Tetra Tech, the architectural firm, and Calgi, or Calgi, I always mix up the pronunciation, but contractors, and get regular updates on what's going on. So in terms of this particular moment in the history of the school, it's pretty much all about the project all the time. And we talk about everything from nuts and bolts of, asbestos removal to larger visions for what's best for our teachers and our students in terms of the improvements. More generally though, the facilities committee is just in charge of looking at the physical plant and the surrounding grounds in general. But this happens to be a particularly, and I mean this sincerely, fascinating and vital time to be a part of the facilities committee. So far it's been great. Tetra Tech and Calgi have been incredibly collaborative and clear in their work, and it's been both educational and informative to be a part of it. So.
And I understand you wish to continue on it next year.
Yes, sorry, I thought that was implicit from what I said. It's such a wonderful experience. I very much like to continue on it, yes.
And David, I believe you wish to join as well?
I would be thrilled to join the facilities.
Thank you
Welcome.
so much. I think that's great. And then when we have a new member to our board, perhaps we can introduce them to the wonderful world of the Facilities Committee as well. Thank you, Matt. Unless anyone else is jumping up and down to join, right? Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, Dusty?
I just have a quick question for clarification. Will you be designating a chair for each of the committees this evening?
Oh, thank you so much, Dusty. I apologize. I had that down in my notes. Thank you for bringing me back to that. Yes, we should do that. I will go back to Audit Committee and ask if anyone wishes to be the chair of the Audit Committee. I can serve as the chair of the Audit Committee, if that's okay. Facilities.
I'm happy to serve as the chair of the Facilities Committee.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Dusty.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go on to Finance. James, would you like to tell us a little bit about the Finance Committee?
Sure. The Finance Committee meets a few times a year, 3 times a year usually, and it reviews the budget and revenue status reports that are brought to us regularly through board meetings. But it also examines fund balance and assesses the overall financial status of the district and tries to lay out what would be strategic and smart through collaborating with the superintendent and the business manager to figure out how to move the district forward in a more strategic manner. Given usually, because we've been managed so well, this committee has been less pressing, but I'd have to say that given the situation we find ourselves in with a lack of tax revenue going into the state coffers, as well as various other impacts in our community, it's quickly becoming a very important committee as we try to prepare for the future. So that's about it.
Thank you. And would you like to stay on the Finance Committee?
Yeah, I'd love to.
How do you feel? And then I also have Courtney. You'd like to join?
Court.
And I will stay on it with you as well.
Sarah.
James, would you like to? Well, we might have a new member who wishes to join soon, but to keep the numbers there.
Oh, okay.
James, would you like to chair?
I can chair, yeah.
Thank you.
Finance.
Moving on to planning. Jocelyn, would you like to speak a little bit about the Planning Committee?
Sure. This year, the Planning Committee worked to secure, working with the consultant, Jonathan Costa, on a coherence plan. And I think this upcoming year will be a busy year for the Planning Committee because that work will begin. The Planning Committee is charged with really working with all the constituents in the Garrison community, including the public and the staff and administration, board members, parents, to try to set short and long-term goals for the district. And I think that working with Mr. Costa will really structure a lot of that work for us. And I know he's very inclusive of many different voices in the community. So I look forward to hearing about it and seeing how it's going to be executed in this era of COVID. I think that it's also interesting that the Planning Committee is also charged with identifying efficient uses and allocations of resources given forecasted demographics and enrollment trends, and to kind of analyze possible alternatives to the current use of many things like our facilities, transportation, infrastructure practices. So it's a pretty big charge, I would say, but I'm very happy to stay on it, and I'm had a great time working with both James and David over the year, and I hope that it also brings in some other members from administration, faculty, staff, and the public.
David, did you want to chime in there?
I just think it's really challenging, and I'm excited about what may happen with Costa.
I have Jocelyn, David, and James down for this committee. Would one of you like to chair this committee? Jocelyn, you're nodding your head. You want that job?
Yeah, I was starting to do it at the end of the year, so I'm happy to keep moving.
I want to say that this is this is an important committee, and I think it's what we do is refer to the, whatever whatever process we go through, all these committees refer back to make recommendations to the board, but it's really to help frame the experience for the entire district. And I think so it has to be by very nature, long-term and strategic. And then short-term goals get much more easily identified once you have that framework in place. And I like Costa's focus on student learning outcomes as a way to, the outcomes you want out of graduates and your graduate profile as a way to build a strategy around. So it's not just the whim of particular individuals, but things we want to develop in our graduates. And I think that's a really great way to go about doing it.
Great. Sounds like it's going to be a great, productive year. And we're going to finish up then with Policy Committee. Courtney, do you want to talk a little bit about the fun time over at Policy Committee?
Yeah, I'm going to challenge James's assertion that Policy Committee is actually the most important committee and the most important work that we're doing.
Did I say most?
No, honestly, it's interesting. This is always, it's so good to hear the recap of all of the different committees and the work that's been done over the past year and how it all comes together and how it's helping to shape the district. So I've served on the Policy Committee for the past year. This particular year has been pretty intense because we took on a complete overhaul of the policy. We had Erie One-Bosse's provide us a revised policy, and then we went through every single page, thousands of them, page by page, to make sure everything was appropriate, up to date. So there were three policy committee policy committee members, plus superintendent, and many times policies were earmarked and sent out for review from Sue or Dusty or Nurse Melissa. Consulted a range of teachers, some that were pulled to as we needed more committee work, more teachers and parents involved in shaping that. And it's actually really been fascinating. And it has really helped me to understand the district and what we can do. So I look forward to serving on it for the next year. I think the workload might be a little lighter. I say carefully.
Thank you for that. My favorite committee, but yeah, I think it should be a little bit lighter depending on how fast one sees with.
I have to say, this is a very impressive. You guys have done an amazing job.
Thank you.
We had a great time, right, Jocelyn? Jocelyn, you're staying on this one too. Courtney, do you want to take over as chair of this committee?
Sure.
Thanks.
You've got a couple things on your plate.
I mean, I will still put my whole heart into policy. I love it so much, but
I'm counting on you.
All right, I think that wraps up our discussions of committees. I will add that we have a lot of other not board level committees, but as you know, we've got task force going on. There is the Code of Conduct Committee, the Wellness Committee that will hopefully get up and running. So a lot of our members are deeply involved in the reopening task force and a lot of other ways that do not fall under these 5 official committees. And if we feel the need to add another committee throughout the year, I'm certain we can figure out a way to write a charge and do that as well, if it looks like it will serve the district. But thank you all for offering to serve on these committees. And once we have a new member, if any of you feel strongly about leaving one of your assignments or it's too much time, please let me know. Okay, anybody? All right, we're good. I'm gonna move on now. Unless anyone has anything else to add, we're good. We're going to move on to action items. Action item A is approval of revised 2020-2021 Board of Education meeting schedule. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby approves the revised Board of Education meeting schedule for the 2020-2021 school year. You'll note that we have the retreat on there on Saturday, and Dusty, jump in if I'm incorrect here, and we've removed an evening meeting that was previously scheduled, although as Mr. Albano stated earlier, we may need to add a meeting again in order to approve teacher appointments at some point, but we will wait for guidance on that. Does anyone have any, oh, I need a motion, please. Sorry.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. Dusty, would you like to do a roll call vote, please?
Jocelyn Apicello,
Aye.
David Gelber,
Aye.
James Hoke,
Aye.
McCarthy,
Aye.
Matthew Spicer,
Aye.
Sarah Tormy.
Aye. Okay, I'll move on to the approval of payment of invoice. Action item B. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby approves payment for the cost of introduction videos and authorizes the payment of the invoice dated June 29th, 2020 from Monkey Boy Productions in the amount of $2,500. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. Any questions on this? These are for the videos that David helped us put together to introduce Mr. Albano to the community. Again, they are posted on the website, and I hope everyone, if you haven't seen the link in your email, will take the opportunity to listen to these conversations. They're great. Okay, move to a roll call vote, please.
Jocelyn Apicello,
Aye.
David Gelber,
I'm going to abstain only because of my personal involvement in these videos.
thank you. James Hoke,
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy,
Aye.
Matthew Spicer,
Aye.
Sarah Tormy.
Aye.
Sarah,
Okay, move on. I'm
once
sorry?
again, if I could just once again thank David for all his work. He spent an entire day with us, and I know many hours afterwards. Deborah and I, you made us feel so comfortable, David, and we really, really appreciate your expertise and volunteering all that time for us.
Thanks, Charlie. You're very welcome. It was a pleasure, really.
They turned out great. I thought, turned out great.
Okay. Thank you. We're going to move on to action item C, non-instructional resignation for the purpose of retirement. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby accepts the resignation of Kathy Salt, account clerk, for the purpose of retirement effective August 1st, 2020. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Great. Thank you. Do you have any questions? Is there anything you wish to add on this, Mr. Albano? I'm sure we all wish to thank Mrs. Salt for her very long service. I believe it's 20 years. Is that correct? I'm sorry.
No, that's correct. I just briefly met Kathy Salt, but I know she's given the district 20 years of service. On behalf of the district, I just say to her, thank you. We appreciate your dedication, and we wish you all the best in her retirement.
Thank you. Okay, I think we are ready to move on to a roll call vote, Dusty, unless anyone has anything else they wish to add at this time. Okay.
Jocelyn Apicello,
Aye.
David Gelber,
Aye.
James Hoke,
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy,
Aye.
Matthew Spicer,
Aye.
Sarah Tormy.
Aye. Thank you. This brings me to action item D, approved summer hours for Kathy Clark. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby summer hours for Catherine Clark at her regular hourly rate of pay, not to exceed 75 hours. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
Mr. Albano, do you wish to speak to this?
Sure. This is being recommended by Ms. Hutter, but I certainly support it. We will immediately do a search for a replacement. for Kathy Sult, but it may take several weeks, and the summer is a very busy time for the business office. So Kathy Clark, who is a district employee and a very competent employee and held in high regard, is willing to step in and help us just bridge this time period. So I do recommend it, and I think it'll be a big help.
Thank you. I think unless there's any questions, we can move to a roll call vote.
Jocelyn Apicello,
Aye.
David Gelber,
Aye.
James Hope,
Aye.
Courtney McCarthy,
Aye.
Matthew Spicer,
Aye.
Sarah Tormey.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, we have reached the public comment section. Clearly, because we are still in Zoom, the comments, I would invite everyone to add their comments in the chat. I'm going to give it some time. I will ask that we look to our policy, as policy 3220, regarding public comment, that the board is here to listen, and we may not, you're welcome to address concerns of your own children, but we ask that you do not comment about specific personnel or individual students other than your own. Any concerns regarding students or personnel should be discussed privately with the appropriate person, whether it be your teacher, principal, or superintendent. Any necessary follow-up will be noted and provided through the appropriate channel. I will now read the comments as they appear. Let's see. A comment. Sorry, I've got dogs barking in the background here. Are committees comprised only of board members, or do they include faculty and non-board parent representatives as well? This is a fairly factual one. I will look to Dusty and Mr. Albano for guidance, but I can answer speak to the charges, which are posted on the GUF's website on this, which lists who may appear in, who may be a part of any committee. And we can certainly get back to Mrs. Benares with additional information on that. Make note. Do we have any other comments? I'm going to keep this open for a little bit.
You know, some committees are open to the community and parents and staff, and others are just board members. So if anyone is interested in serving, they certainly could contact Ms. Callow or me, and we will steer them in the right direction. But for those that are open to the public, usually there is an application process, which really just consists of a letter of intent that you send to the district, explaining why you think would be able to contribute and bring value to the committee. We will consider that, and then there are plenty of places where parents can contribute and staff.
Thank you, Mr. Albano. Give it another moment, see if anyone else has anything they would like to add in the chat before we move on. Okay. I don't see anything right now, so I'm going to move ahead to board member comment, just because we've been here for a while already. I'm going to invite the members to comment. We're going to go down in alphabetical order, correct alphabetical order this time. Thank you, David, for pointing that out.
E before H, Sarah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Okay, time.
a little nervous. I read a lot of
I
stuff
know.
earlier. It was a lot.
It happens.
It's a fun for me. I didn't realize I just have to recite it all. I'm going to turn the floor to Jocelyn, please, if you have anything you'd like to share.
My only comment is to welcome Mr. Albano to the first official meeting, and to welcome Sarah as the new president, and to thank James for his service the previous year, and to thank Courtney for staying on board as VP.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Hear, hear.
Okay, now we will move to David, if you have comments.
Yeah, actually, well, first of all, Sarah, thank you so much for your initial meeting and for bringing a whole sense of fun to the audit committee and other functions of the school board. Actually, I have and I'll apologize in advance. What what may feel a little like what feels to me like a half-baked idea, but I'm going to throw it out anyway, just for people to think about. We're going to be, in all likelihood, let's just stipulate that for the moment, that we end up with a hybrid arrangement for the school year. Some in school, some out of school. That does imply that we're going to be able to deliver less to students. I think to a lot of us, and to me, it does mean that there's going to be limitations on what we can provide our students. So Garrison is a community where there are an awful lot of very talented, if uncertified, teachers, people who have things to teach, areas of expertise, areas of intellectual pursuit. And I wonder if it might be possible to think about a kind of a voluntary situation where we welcome people in the community to offer kind of tutorials, or maybe that they're going to read a book with kids who are interested in it. I mean, nothing within the academic framework, because I know I'm not proposing that, but I'm saying that maybe as a way to supplement what we don't have or we're not able to offer because of the COVID situation. There are so many people in this community who have so many great passions that they could share with students from K to 8. It's something that, if anybody's interested in considering how if and how that might work, I'd definitely be up for, brainstorming it.
Thank you, David. That's an interesting idea. I'm going to turn it over to James, who will have either his own comment or a response or something.
Just, a welcome to, David's talking about like a talent bank kind of thing, right? Developing a talent bank, which has come up in the past, and, it's actually a really good time to develop that talent bank. So, and also partnerships with other community organizations, like Hudson Valley Shakespeare Fest or Phillipstown Depot or anything like that, where they're, actually online doing some educational activities. So any of those community organizations that the district can tie into for supplementary engagement would be terrific, and something we've been, looking forward to developing. I think that's it. Welcome to Carl. Welcome to Sarah. The only other thing is I think that, it's clear to me that our behavior determines how rampant the virus is. And you see that there's a lot of people that are not following precautions in those states and in those parts of those states where you see these explosions of the virus. It's, failure to yield good advice. And I think it behooves us as a district to communicate to the public that it matters that we keep numbers down in order to secure a better chance of having a school year that's in person. So I would recommend to the board consider messaging out the proper protocols, like wearing a mask, for instance. So just wanted to let everyone know that that's something I think the board should, we might want to reiterate. That's it.
Thank you. Turn it over to Courtney.
Nothing specific to welcome Mr. Albano. First official meeting. Sarah, we are at just 2 hours, which is pretty impressive for this massive agenda for 2 meetings back to back. So well done on your first one. And once again, thank you to James for this past year.
Thank you. And Matthew, I'll turn to you next.
Oh, wait, I'm going back. Sorry, Matt, I'm going to cut you
Oh,
off.
sorry.
No, I'm just going to cut you off and say, I hope that sometimes you change up the order of alphabetical, forward, backwards. My maiden name was Watson. I was laughed always as a kid. So Jocelyn doesn't always get to go first. Maybe you can switch it up from time to time. keep us on our toes.
We can definitely do that. It was already proven earlier that I don't quite know the alphabet, so I'll mix it up. But I will give it over to Matt.
My apologies, Matt.
No, I appreciate that. Going last, you can sound very uncreative in these moments. So I will second everything that has been said. Although I swear I was going to say it myself. Welcome Sarah in, to thank James for all the leadership, especially during this incredible year, and for onboarding me as a board member. And in terms of and for Courtney as well. And in terms of David's comment, I almost feel like the natural space for that is something that seems like it'll definitely be lost no matter what the format of our return, which is sort of assembly spaces and large gatherings. And so this is almost an opportunity where normally you might have speakers or guests coming in, or guest authors who might come into the school and meet with students across grade levels. This is an opportunity for the community perhaps to sort of directly fill in that slot as sort of people from outside the building coming in and talking about their own experiences and passions, and helping fill up people's days if there's a hybrid model. So I think it's great.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to go last here, which is kind of what I liked about the alphabetical order, because at least I knew I was last. I want to welcome Mr. Albano. It's been a pleasure to work with you. I want to thank Ms. Callow for putting together this amazing agenda. James, thank you for your leadership for the past year and your willingness to stay on this year, especially so you can engage all of my questions. I have lots and lots of questions, always. And Courtney, thank you for your willingness to work with me. I really appreciate it. I would also just like to say that, you know, this does not, I'm sorry, I have a dog running away. This format doesn't always lead to great public comment. Board meetings in general don't. If you have a question or thought you wish to share with the board, you can reach us at our board emails, which are listed on gufs.org. I would encourage members of the public who wish to reach out to please use our board emails, as we should not respond from private email addresses. So they are listed there. If you have a question or wish to reach us, we look forward to hearing from you. And I think that's it. Oh, David, I do like your idea. Matthew?
I'm going to remember if when I seconded the comments, I actually welcomed Mr. Albano and said how enthusiastic I was. But if I didn't, I was afraid that seemed like an omission. And if I did, I apologize for repeating myself. But I wanted to second the enthusiastic welcome from everybody else.
I think that's great. We should all go back to our snaps too at some point. Okay. I think does anyone else have anything, another response, thought, question? Yes,
I see Alex Levine is in the attendees out there, and I just wanted to thank him for working with Lou in the transition.
Oh, thank you for mentioning that, James. I'm sorry I haven't been paying attention as much to the attendees, but I have been trying to read and remember the alphabet at the same time. Executive session is next on our agenda. So I'm going to be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District adjourns to executive session for the purpose of discussing the employment history of a particular person or corporation. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, guys. I will see you executive.
Vote to move into exec session.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Dusty. Ayes?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. My apologies, Dusty. I'll get it right for the next time. Okay. Have a good, I'll see you.